I'm camping at a Bigfoot sighting location, kind of a scary, aggressive encounter. That's why we're here. We like the aggressive ones. We're hoping the aggressive Bigfoot will show themselves. Now, I don't take any single Bigfoot sighting report seriously unless I find evidence at the location. However, if it's an area that has over a dozen Bigfoot sighting reports like this one, then I have to start taking the group of them over the years seriously. Okay, this mountainside that I'm checking out right now, the guy had 2 Bigfoot after the sun come down harass him and his dogs, which provoked them to leave the area, motivated them to leave. But they came down this mountainside. All right, a couple of things that were going on. The guy had a couple of steaks on the grill and they were grilling. He was cooking a steak for him and a steak for his 2 dogs. And he was down by camp, just tossing the frisbee around with the dogs. And that's when they began coming down and the dogs freaking out. They started vocalizing back and forth like a coordinated deal. Come down, his dogs freaked out. He let him in the car and they just hid and shook in the car. And he got in the car with his dog after he had turned the stakes off and they could start seeing the silhouettes of the Bigfoot around camp. So they left. He came back the next day and took all of his stuff. Nothing in his camp had been messed with. But because there's a dozen Bigfoot sightings reports in this area we're in, including footprints that we found south of here 2 years in a row. The first year we saw those tracks is right after a guy filmed the Bigfoot just a few days before. Great piece of footage in Logan Canyon. All right, I'm gonna go down to the camp spot. It's kinda off, well not kinda, it is off the main dirt road. And the main dirt road sucks really bad, by the way. So I consider this area remote. I don't necessarily think Bigfoot cares if an area is remote or not. They get seen everywhere. National parks, campgrounds, places that people are at. But this one's a little bit more remote than most. I come up a day early. I get more time off of work than Jenny. Jenny had to work today. So I use my extra day to make things better for us for when she can be here. I set up most of our camp. Most of it will have more set up when she gets here. See, there's the main valley down there below us. Yeah, we like the aggressive Bigfoot sightings. We like to camp right where people say crazy stuff happened if we're able to make it to the location. I just saw something back here. Yeah, we're going to spend several days and nights here. And one of the nights we're going to try and replicate his deal. Just right before the sun goes down, start cooking a couple of steaks. Look at some of the rock formations back here. I thought I saw something huge. I just wanted to make sure it's not a giant 9-foot tall stump that I saw. Yeah, it was light brown, or not quite dark brown, lighter than dark. Yeah, while I was talking to you guys, I had the camera pointed in that direction. So that will be our base camp for several weeks. The hour or two I've spent setting up camp so far. I was pretty quiet for the most part, except for the couple of minutes I pounded in a few spikes. Have pounded in a spike before and had a knock in response on more than one occasion up on Monte Cristo. But the rest of it, I was really quiet and I haven't heard anything unusual. Right, this is gonna be freaky. It's kind of intimidating to stay in a place where they're so aggressive. Okay, coincidences. or perhaps correlating. That guy had 2 Bigfoot come down on him. Several years later, a guy filmed a single Bigfoot. When we come in to investigate, about a half a mile from where I'm standing, we found dozens of Bigfoot tracks, even cast one, 2 different sizes. So in our opinion, 2 different individuals in the area. Maybe one of those 2 is what was caught on film a few days before. Then 5 miles south of here, during our second time up here investigating, probably a week after we found all those tracks, some people in Franklin Basin in a campground, they have a Bigfoot sighting. Then 3 weeks later, 20 miles south of that location, a guy comes face to face with 2 Bigfoot. We show up the same day he saw the 2 Bigfoot, and by this time the snow had come down. And we were finding dozens, if not even hundreds of Bigfoot tracks all over up there on Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo is probably 20 miles from here. The top of the mountain anyway. If you go to the north side of the border, it's probably much closer than that. Yeah, all these forests are kind of connected. So there's well over a dozen Bigfoot sightings on the Monte Cristo area. This area that I call Beaver Mountain, this area has over a dozen Bigfoot sightings too. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up some game cameras around camp. When Jenny gets here, we'll do some long hikes. Look, a robin's egg. Another bird, skunk, raccoon, whatever. It's a broken egg, so something probably got into a nest and ate a few eggs. That's the remnants of a mill. Yeah, and then when Jenny gets up here, we have some hikes planned in areas, including this one. We want to hike deep back in the woods and along the rock spine formation. Over in that area, we want to go and look for all the caves, see what's going on over there. So we have a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff planned for this expedition. Hoping for some scary nights. I mean, you hope, but you don't. All right. Keep on watching. We're gonna keep on squatching, simply because I won't be here tonight. Want to set up some game cameras that aim at camp. Don't want them aimed at camp if you're actually going to be camping there, because you're going to set them off every 5 to 10 seconds depending on how you have them set up. So that one's pointed at camp. A Bigfoot come down into this guy's camp. Maybe they're curious. Perhaps if they detect nobody's here at night, they'll come check it out. It's fun to change things up. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to come up and set up a day before we actually do this nearly week Bigfoot expedition. And then it come down off of this mountain, 2 of them. So I also wanted to set up another game camera behind the camp on the mountain that would have to come down, and I checked out some of the animal trails and a path where it can stay hidden and actually observe my camp from cover. I put another game camera, and this one right here, we'll just leave this one up the entire time that we camp here. So this one's going to be up for about a week. I hope you guys enjoy our Bigfoot expeditions. I'm excited for this one. Hopefully we can find or have a good experience. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.